hope that you have been having an amazing week. And it is Tuesday, which means it's time for the Tuesday tip. So this week, my tip is actually a book that a friend of mine told me about. She's actually not in business, but I found it incredibly helpful. Give me just a moment. I wanted to show it to you. And of course, as always, I do everything on my phone. So this is the book. It is called Go for No. And their little tagline is, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. And the entire point of this book is that instead of focusing on getting the yeses, it's kind of geared towards like more salesmen, which sometimes as small business owners, we have a tendency not to think of ourselves like that. But the fact of the matter is that we are trying to sell. So we are salespeople as well. And oftentimes we get so hung up on, are we making the sales, that we forget to focus on other things that we actually have control over. To some extent, we have control over sales, but not really, because the person has to decide whether or not they're going to buy. So what you do have control over is how many people say no. So if your goal is to get in front of as many people as possible, then you can meet that goal. You have the power to meet that goal. You do not have the power to meet a goal of the number of people that will say yes and buy. Hi, Maria. Hi, Rose. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have sales goals. Of course you should. But if you can figure out how many people are buying from the people that you actually show something, then you figure out what that show number is. So if you show this to 1,000 people and one person buys, that means your goal should be to show it to 1,000 people, not to have one sale. And that will help you get that one sale by focusing on what you have control over. So instead of beating yourself up over not getting the sale, you now can have an actual goal that you can actually reach of getting in front of 1,000 people. So this book is all about that. It's actually written in a story format. It's called Go for No, for those of you who are just joining. And so this is actually a story about a guy, and he ends up kind of going to an alternate reality or whatever, and seeing how his life could be different if he started focusing on the no's instead of the yeses. And some people will say that this could be a very negative outlook, but I don't think that's the case. My daughter and I for Oleo Custom actually have a competition when we go and do live events. We have those little clickers that you use for baseball. You know, the umpire, I'm sorry, not the umpire, the ref has a little clicker to see, you know, how many outs we have and all these things. We actually each take one of those to a live event, and every person we talk to, regardless of whether or not they buy, we click our little clicker. And at the end of the day, our goal is to see who has the most. Now, my daughter's adorable, so she pretty much always wins, but we focus on talking to people instead of making sales. And that can make it so that you can feel like you accomplished something, even if maybe you have a bad show, maybe you have a bad sales month. But if you met your goal to talk to or get in front of X number of people for that month, that is an amazing thing, because you can still be like, well, I didn't make sales. I need to look at why I didn't make sales. But if I met my goal of who I'm trying to get in front of, then at least you can be like, well, I did something right this month. So it's all about shifting your focus. Looking at the no's is not negative. It's about controlling what you can actually control. So that's my tip for this week. I have already read this book. I actually really like this book a lot. I'm going to plan to read it. If you are a phone, Audible, addicted person like me, it's an hour-and-a-half book. So the next book that I'm going to suggest is going to be in 4 weeks. So that means you have 4 weeks to go through an hour-and-a-half book. Even I can do that. So I highly recommend you check out the book. It's a really interesting look on life, on kind of your business perspective. So go check it out. And there's a link in the description. So if you want to go there, you can get it through Amazon. You can get the actual book if you're more of a real book person, which I really am, but I don't have time for that. Or you can get the Audible book and listen to it while you're driving or working on your crafts. So have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week for the Tuesday tip. Love ya. Bye.